I'm Donny Osmond. You can come out now, Marie.
May we find love and laughter along the way.
Boy, the emotions are right there for him, and you can imagine why. The siblings' 11-year run started as just a 6-week engagement.
Everyone thought Donny and Marie Osmond were the perfect team. But was it all fake? How did two siblings so close on stage end up refusing to speak or even pose for photos together? Was it fame, personal trauma, jealousy, or something much worse? After decades of smile, why did everything fall apart so suddenly and so publicly?
Want a good explanation, and someone who has an authority about it should really talk to the general authorities of our church. They are not allowed to hold the priesthood in this right now.
For over 40 years, they were seen as America's golden duo. Their variety show in the 1970s pulled in over 15 million viewers weekly, and their Las Vegas residency brought in an estimated $100 million across 1,730 shows at the Flamingo. But by 2019, the happy act was falling apart. They weren't even willing to pose for photos together. Separate dressing rooms, separate meet and greets, even promotional shots had to be done individually. Marie came from a home with strict rules and even stricter expectations. She was the only girl in a house of 8 brothers. Their dad ran things like a military base, early wake-ups, organized meals, and harsh discipline. Music was everywhere. Every day someone was practicing, performing, or recording. At first, Marie and Donny were a team. They joked around constantly and supported each other, but as the spotlight grew brighter, so did the pressure. The family's rise to fame had a painful start. 2 of their older brothers, Verl and Tom, were born deaf. Doctors told the parents to stop having kids and give up, but instead, the family pushed forward. To raise money for hearing aids, the younger brothers started performing in 1958. A performance at Disneyland caught the attention of TV producers, leading to a spot on the Andy Williams Show. That's when little Donny, just 5 at the time, began stealing hearts in national television. By age 12, he had a chart-topping hit. His song One Bad Apple sold over 1 million copies. The Osmonds exploded in popularity. In 1973 alone, they had 13 songs on the UK charts.
Donny?
Huh?
What have you got there?
Nothing.
Donny.
No,
What?
I don't have anything.
Donny, I know you've got something in your jacket.
Marie jumped into a music a little later. When she was just starting out, she recorded 9 songs in one Nashville session. A rare feat. Her debut hit, Paper Roses, reached #1 on the US country chart and #2 in the UK, selling hundreds of thousands of copies. She became the youngest female country artist to top the charts, and she did it without Donny's help. As her solo success grew, so did the gap between her and her brother. Meanwhile, Donny's fame came with a heavy cost. Screaming fans followed him everywhere. He couldn't walk into a restaurant without being mobbed. At one point, his concerts were so loud from fan noise that he couldn't hear his own voice. But the worst part wasn't the chaos, it was the backlash. In a brutal review, Rolling Stone magazine called his birth one of the worst things to happen to music. That kind of public shaming hit hard. It embarrassed him and left emotional scars. Years later, even rock bands didn't want to be publicly connected with him. When guitarist Phil Collen contributed to Donny's album, his name had to be removed from the credits to avoid industry judgment.
I'm not surprised. My fortune cookie said I'd meet a handsome stranger today.
Oh, so you think I'm handsome, huh?
Not very, but you couldn't be stranger.
By the end of their time in Vegas, Donny and Marie were no longer hiding the tension. After 11 years of performing together night after night, they were barely speaking. What had once been a tight bond was now a cold distance. When Donny and Marie Osmond released their duet in 1974, things moved fast. The song became a huge hit, and TV bosses quickly saw an opportunity. In 1976, at just 18 and 16, they were handed their own variety show. With 14 million people tuning in every week, it looked like a dream come true. But behind the spotlight, things were far from perfect. Marie, despite being only 103 pounds, was constantly criticized about her weight. The producers pushed her so hard that she started starving herself just to keep her place on the show. She lived on lemon water, maple syrup, and cayenne pepper, sometimes going days without eating. She was so weak she could barely dance. This kind of pressure created a cycle of unhealthy habits that haunted her for decades.
In their Vegas show. We grew up with the Osmonds. Their Friday night show was one of TV's biggest hits, 14 million views.
While she was hurting quietly, Donny was going through his own emotional battles. He suffered from severe anxiety and often locked himself away, struggling to catch his breath before walking on stage. When he got married in 1978, the network didn't even want anyone to know. They feared it would ruin his image and hurt the ratings, and eventually it did. Behind the scenes, the family was also losing control of their finances. Jimmy Osmond later shared that bad advice and bad investments wiped out somewhere between $80 million and $100 million. Some of the Osmonds' business plans collapsed, and they were only able to stay afloat by selling real estate. As for Marie, her private life had already been damaged long before the fame. She'd revealed years later that she had been abused when she was just a child by people close to her family. The trauma left her deeply confused and emotionally scarred. Her relationships suffered. She dated singer Andy Gibb, but his drug use ended that quickly. A brief romance with actor Eric Estrada also went nowhere. Her first marriage in 1982 ended just 3 years later. Her second marriage brought 7 children, but it too collapsed in 2007 as she struggled with postpartum depression. Donny's career in the 1980s hit a wall. Radio stations didn't want to play his music and record labels stopped calling. His anxiety got so bad in the 1990s that he would shake uncontrollably. At one point, his wife had to rush him to a hospital. From 1992 to 1998, he took on over 2,000 performances in Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. While the role helped him bring back into the spotlight, it also nearly broke him. After one show in Las Vegas, he collapsed backstage. Even then he kept going. In 2008, Donny and Marie signed on for what was supposed to be a short 6-week run in Las Vegas. They performed 1,730 views at the Flamingo, and nearly 1 million people came to see them. The showroom was even renamed in their honor, but it came with a cost. Marie performed while dealing with serious knee pain, sometimes needing to crawl upstairs at home. Donny, now in his 60s, was also dealing with the physical strain. Offstage, they grew further apart. Marie, raising 8 children on her own and still grieving her son Michael, who died in 2010, relied on Vegas for stability. Donny had his own team and focused on different projects. In 2013, Marie Osmond made a bold move with her own talk show, hoping it would lead to something new, but it quickly fell apart after just season 1. Do you like these siblings? Let us know in the comment section below, and for more such amazing videos, do subscribe to our channel.